Hello. Happy Sunday morning. As you can see, I'm at work. Ah, crazy day. Anyway, question of the day. So, is there really an excuse for being broke? Now, as I say that, because I know I'm going to get killed in the comments, I realize that this is a very layered question. Because maybe in one aspect, we'll probably be like, well, define broke. So I am going to define broke in this instant as homeless, able body, and sound mind, and I'd even go as far as having a family. And I'd rather be a family that is not on the street with you or a family on the street with you. So I'm just going to kind of tap in on this. I'm not going to go too deep in it because this is going to be one of those ones where people are probably going to be like, uh, that ain't fair, da 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 da. People are gonna chop me up and spit me out and whatever. I'm gonna just tell you like this, and I side with my boy 50 Cent on this one when he said it back in the day. The only excuse for being broke is being in jail, especially nowadays. So let me just kind of go in a little bit and explain how this works for me when it comes to being broke, able body, sound mind, family, this, that, and the third. Because there are some old people out there in the street. They're very disoriented. First of all, they're probably drug addicts. They're probably drunks. They're probably didn't had a hard life. You know, and I know the whole thing with the whole veterans and stuff that, you know, came home from war and never recovered. Um, PSTD. Um, what else? What else? What else? What else? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, just people that are on drugs. Whatever. But I guess I'm having a hard time with able-bodied individuals that I've seen. Okay, let me just give you an example. Matter of fact, I had a guy come up to me in a drive-through. In a drive-through now, I'm almost reluctant to say he might have been homosexual or whatever. Not that that matters. But regardless, I'm paying for my food, and he walks up to me on my driver's side or passenger side, which is absent now because I am a a weapon carrier. So I was like, dude, he literally could have got shot I had if it wasn't daytime and if it was just on some spook shit, I would have probably shot him. But he walks up on me in the drive-through, but you know, I guess he could say he actually caught me a little slipping. But I'm looking at the lady because she was, I don't know if she was either giving me my food or giving me my change or not. Actually, I had gave her my car. She's probably giving me back my car. But then he's like, "Hey, bro, can I get some change?" And I rolled down my window. Oh, actually, I might have my window down already on the passenger side. And I'm like, "Nah, bro, I ain't got it." It did. So after that, I literally clicked him out. Then I started focusing on my food. He continues to ask for money or like, like, well, like almost like, what's your excuse for not having money? And it's like, well, bro, like, and like he didn't say that, but I'm thinking in my mind he's probably aiming at. And I'm thinking to myself, like, bro, first and foremost, I'm paying with a card. I don't really even keep cash on me. Second of all, you interrupted me in my lunchtime about to get some food. And then the other part of it, you walked over here to my car. You didn't wheelchair your ass over here. You actually younger than me. You look like you of sound mind and body. You might maybe be a tweaker, but I'm not going to excuse that. Get your fucking grind on. There is really hardly any excuse for being broke out here in these streets. Now, the other thing is, because, I've seen people with their families out in the street. Now, that's a toughie for me. Because, I've seen people with their kids out in the street, and maybe that's probably a partial problem, and I couldn't relate because I don't have kids of my own. I've raised my wife's son at the age of 16, not as a little kid, onto his adulthood, and he'll be 30 next year, I believe. 30? He's close to 30. I've not dealt with little kids, and knowing what the magnitude of, how hard it is to really navigate lifestyle with a kid. I already know how hard it is to navigate a married life with just me and my wife and some dogs, a cat, and, some fish and shit. But I guess to me, I'm willing to do a little bit of everything to keep me and my kids and my wife from being on the street. I'm sure my wife is willing to do the same thing. She's going to work doubles. I'm going to work doubles to keep us off the street. And I got a mom, and my wife's got older kids, and and all of that. Is like, there's no fucking way. And I don't understand that. I don't get able-bodied individuals and stuff. And and then with your family too out in the street. How do you do that? Where did it go wrong? And what was you not willing to do before it got to that point? So this can get really controversial. I'm almost feeling like this will be, somebody's gonna get in the comments and say, well, what if, give me whatever scenario you want to give me. I'm willing to talk about it, and I'm not willing to be super aggressive or whatever about it. So don't take my tone to sound like I'm just gonna come at you guys crazy or nothing. I just need to understand, if you're an able-bodied individual that can work, okay, the only excuse, and the other excuse is if you're coming from another country, which I have to question that. Are you an illegal immigrant, or you came in the right way and you're trying to make a life for yourself? Now, unless your country's under war and you snuck out your country and you got here and you're just trying to start, I can maybe understand it might be hard to get on your feet with you being illegal and you trying to stay under the radar or whatever like that. Meanwhile, you're on the streets. So I don't know. This could go so many different ways. There's an economical breakdown for all of this. There's an economical breakdown. That's why I say it's layered. But in a real scenario, let's just think about it. Can you really be broke in America? Don't worry, I'll wait. It's just crazy to me because you don't even need to know how to code. You can build a website. People might say, well, you're probably, going off the whole, being able to use like an app to create a website. Well, what if you don't have a phone? What if you don't have access to a computer? That's possible, but I've even seen homeless people with phones, surprisingly enough. So instead of having all them TikToks and all of that, get you an app that's gonna help, you know, get you started on something productive, like a Replit. Replit has a is an app that you can use to create a website. Now I know it gets a little technical on some aspect of it because I've used Replit too, but I'm just I'm having a hard time with that. So you guys get down in the comments and help me out. And yeah, another thing is you can use apps to like GoPuff, DoorDash, Uber, Lyft, unless you don't have a car. But then there's even where you can start off using a bike. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments about this question. What's your excuse for being broke? Or is there an excuse for being broke in America now, in this very day that we're living in? Is there a real excuse? The only excuses I'm accepting is if you're an unable body, you you're on drugs, you're not of sound mind, you've had a rough life, you came from another country, you didn't, well, you snuck out your country, you're trying to stay below the radar, you're trying to make moves, whatever. I don't just make it make sense for me, because I honestly don't understand it. So help me down in the comments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, check out my videos from last night, my KKK reel, my journal point five, and then my question of the day from yesterday. That's it. Let me know what you think. Peace.